Hey guys, Will here, and welcome back to part 5 of Across the Programs, where I take you across multiple programs to create some really cool looking stuff. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into Unreal. We've moved from Maya with our original model, and we've moved to Painter and given it some textures. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take those textures and that model, and we're going to put it in an Unreal scene. So the first thing you need to have the Epic Games Launcher. And if just in case you need a reference, it should look like this logo right here. And once you have that downloaded, go and open it up. Make sure you have an account and all. You're going to go to the Unreal tab, and I'm currently using the 4.24.3, which should be one of the latest versions. And you're going to go ahead and press the launch button. And when you press the launch button, it should take a bit, and you'll eventually open up a tab that looks like this. So what you're going to do is we're going to create a new project. And as you can see, I've had many projects so far in the recent times, but we're going to go ahead and open it. We're going to make a brand new project. So let's go ahead and select Game, Next, and let's just make it a blank. And be sure to name your stuff. Be sure to name it. Let's just go ahead and name it Tutor Saber. Just to stick with the names, and make sure this is set to Blueprint so we can have a blueprint for our project. And once you create the project, it will back away, and a couple of seconds here shortly it will configure our scene, and we can import our model. Okay, so if your starter content was enabled, you are going to have this starter scene right here. It should have a table, 2 chairs, and a statue of some kind sitting on top of our table. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, this is our scene. We have an Unreal scene right here, and this is what some games use for making video games, and it's really cool to be able to access something like this for free. So what we're going to do is, if you come down, you see the button, green button that says Add New. We're going to go to the right of it where it says Import. And you can import, and we're going to go ahead and track down our lightsaber that we made earlier. So we're going to go ahead and import that. Make sure all the parameters that you want are to yours. Everything looks fine here, so we're going to go ahead and import all. And then we have our lightsaber. We drag this into the scene, and we can come over here to our right hand tab, make sure this lock is on scale, so that way they all scale evenly. And let's give this, it's a bit too big, how about a 4? Yeah, that looks good. There's our lightsaber in all its glory. Now if you noticed, it doesn't have its textures. Well, that's okay, we're going to fix that. So what we're going to do is, if you notice, all of our textures here, they have their colors, but they don't have that textures that we have. So we're going to go ahead and do what I'm about to do for all of our stuff. We're going to go find that file that we had for all the files that we had for our textures. If you remember, these are all the textures that we had for our lightsaber. So we're going to go ahead and shift click all of these, and we're going to go ahead and open and import all of them. And it should import all these files, all the heights, normals, roughness, base colors, you name it. Every single one's being imported. Now we have all of these, and make sure all these are, this was normal information that you'll be getting popping up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start implementing these things that we have into our texture. So if you notice that we have our black, but it doesn't look like the carbon fiber that we had. So what we're going to do is you double click on one of these textures. It's going to open up a secondary tab. And now we have our carbon fiber, but as you can clearly tell, it is not carbon fiber. So if you notice in our thing right here, we have base color, metallic, roughness, normal. Sound pretty familiar, right? So what we can do is we track down the color that is this, which is our black grip. So you're going to look for black grip right here. As you can see, we have our black grip texture, base color, height, metallic. So we're just going to go ahead and start dragging these in here and start taking our RGB and plugging them in to the correct places. And when we have all of them put into the right place, we should have our texture. always double check to make sure you have the correct ones being put in the correct areas. Because if you have different ones in different areas, it'll end up looking pretty weird. So this was our normal. We put that into our normal. And look at that. You can notice the texture is already starting to change because we've been adding these different parts. That's our roughness. We're going to use that. We have our roughness right there. So now we have our carbon fiber. So if you press save and apply, make sure you save it because you want that texture to look like that now. And then you press, and it should automatically apply, hopefully. And look at that. That texture you made in Substance Painter, it is now on your lightsaber in Unreal. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Being able to create your own textures like that. Like, we went from making this model right here to putting it into Unreal from Painter. It's cool, isn't it? Being able to use all these different programs to create something like this. It's really, really cool to be able to do something like this.